Want some candy?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy, man, bitch.
Give me some sugar, baby. Like scary movies.
Want some candy?
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah.
Lay that out there.
I wouldn't have even questioned it. So, I'm ready.
Hey, E,
What's up, Oobliette?
do you want to play a game?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to play Crappy Apocalypse.
Okay.
And you have to explain what happened to cause the end of the world in 10 seconds. All right.
Okay. Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Crazy killer radioactive dinosaur people, horse people,
What did they do?
kill people.
All right. My turn. You got to count me down because I got
Let's hear it. All right.
Think
All
about
right.
it.
3, 2, 1.
Biological warfare.
Okay.
And kittens.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Monster Candy Podcast with your girl Oobliette Sparks from Tsunami Bomb and myself, Screamin E from the Memphis Murdermen. And we're getting caged tonight, fuckers. And we're going to talk about the 2024 fucking Benjamin Brewer flick Arcadian. It's a monster movie, I guess.
Number 7.
Number 7.
Page 7. Lucky.
Yeah.
Number 7. You
Lucky.
guys are lucky to hear about this movie, let me tell you.
Probably even.
We were lucky to watch it. Blessed.
Yes. Blessed Benjamin Brewer. Triple B. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. But before we do, it's time to talk about some
horror news. We got some horror news. We got some horror news.
We do
Horror
indeed.
news, folks.
All right. You want to go first?
Yeah. So I think that we touched on this before. The people who did Talk to Me are making a sequel, and now they also just signed on to do a movie called Bring Her Back.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
But that isn't the news. The news was I was reading about that, and they basically gave no information about the new movie. There was a little tidbit
Exciting.
in this article that was definitely news to me. It says that they are working on the Talk to Me sequel, which we know because I just said that. This new one, and also a documentary project inspired by their own journey into the world of international underground death match wrestling.
Okay.
What the fuck? These dudes are just like watching people fucking like kill each other in arranged death matches while they're writing horror movies or directing horror movies. What the fuck?
So they say. We'll see. I don't know if I necessarily believe them.
I mean, I want to watch it to see.
Yeah.
I'm the international underground deathmatch wrestling, not just deathmatch wrestling. International. They're just not going to some third world country and watching people kill each other. International. I would like to know what kind of belts there are for this. I'd like to know like the weight classes, or are there weight classes? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, is it intersex? Like, is it, only men versus men? Like, what is it? What are the rules? Are there rules? Are there not rules? Are there kids, babies? Animals?
I mean, I would watch like man versus baby death match wrestling. Now I hope it's like actual death matches and not just professional wrestling death matches where it's barbed wire and fucking light bulbs and shit.
Oh wait, do you think that's what it is?
I think that's what it is. That's what I would.
Man,
I mean,
you just fucked up my day. I was so excited.
That's what I would guess. I hope it's the other kind where it's actual, like, we're
No,
going,
it's
but
probably wrestling.
yeah.
Damn it.
Aren't these dudes like 25 too?
Stop using reason at me.
Yeah.
I just okay. I need to keep this fantasy going in my head, but
I like your
I will
fantasy way better.
I will now not be watching this documentary because that is totally what it's about, and I just fuck. All right. Well, that was shit news, not horror news.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it is. I hope it is what you're speaking
It's
about.
not. You're right. You're the brain.
No, we can
No,
keep hope alive, Oubliette. Because otherwise, like honestly, who doesn't know about this stuff? Like there's a bazillion Dark Side of the Rings, Dark Side of the Ring
Dark Side of the Ring
episodes.
is good.
Right.
Like you don't need to do it. Nobody else needs to do it. We know about it.
And I mean, just you can literally still buy, or I'm sure find on YouTube, any sort of like ECW best of whatever.
All the excitement and adrenaline is just like draining out of me right now. I was so okay. It's a bummer. So since I'm bummed out now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I also found out that it is completely official that Pope's Exorcist #2 is happening.
Dude, I've seen a bunch of stuff online about that because he's also in another movie where he plays an exorcist.
Yeah, well, no, we had talked about that.
Yeah.
They said they were thinking about Pope's Exorcist 2. Now it's like it's been greenlit officially. So
is Russell Crowe just like the new exorcist?
priest? I don't
Yeah.
know.
He's like, let me make a movie about me being an exorcist, and then I'm gonna make another movie that's not connected to that movie about me being an exorcist, and now I'm gonna make a sequel to the first movie where I played an exorcist.
Yeah.
That's
My
weird.
final piece of news is also something that I'm not excited about. So let's just keep the trend going. So those of you who've seen Mandy, it's like clearly a movie that some like kind of metalhead loser like wrote and then grew up and someone gave him money to make it. Like, and listen, I fucking love metalhead losers. It's fine. Like, I mean, kind of married one. He's not a loser, but he probably was when he was younger. I have it on good account from siblings and parents. Anyways, but it's the movie of what happens when you just give somebody like it's what happens when you just give somebody money that's like doesn't have a cohesive story and just like puts a bunch of shit they think is cool in a movie and you're like, what the fuck is this? Had some good visuals, but whatever. So I've been curious as to what he's making. I did not know that he's already in production with a film that seems just exactly like what you would think called Necrocosm, using like all K's and
right.
Da da da. Has like a fucking like wizard and psychedelic shit on the front, and he hired some fucking dude to do all this spacey music. So that I just found out today because in the horror news area, they were talking about Kristen Stewart and Oscar Isaac signing on to this dude's movie, which is not the one I just mentioned, but a third. And this one's called Flesh of the Gods. They are basically saying that they are making this movie to appeal to the mainstream, and they're expecting it to be a blockbuster and blow up, which is like so weird to me to see that, like this director saying that in a fucking interview when he has this Necrocosm piece of shit coming out. But the fucking synopsis is literally every fucking movie from the 80s. It's like they're a preppy couple who meets a bad girl in a nightclub who opens their eyes to all kinds of rich people doing rich people shit.
Of course.
And they're vampires. So I'm assuming, and it's in 1980s LA. And of course, the main character, male's name is Raoul. You have to have like a Raoul in every 80s movie.
Naturally. Or somebody with an exotic name.
Yeah, but both propulsive and hypnotic. Flesh will take you on a hot rod joyride deep into the glittering heart of hell.
Okay.
And the director hyped, we think it's wildly commercial and wildly artful. So everything that I read to me translates like it's going to be a ripoff of some films I actually kind of enjoyed, but got a little generic after they were made like 30 times. With this dude who I think is totally like masturbatory. Like he just fucking makes whatever. I mean, I guess everybody is when it comes to art in a lot of ways, but like
Especially when we're
I don't
alone.
know. This just reeks of pretension.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Like it's cool that it's set in the 80s, but I mean, I don't know. Like you said, there was some good imagery in Mandy, but as far as like story, there was like a lot of different story in it, which I didn't like. It was just like you said, in his own words, he admitted that he just had a bunch of ideas and a bunch of stuff that
Oh,
he
really?
liked and
Oh, that's
decided to
good.
put it into a movie. So like he's aware that he did it, but it still doesn't mean you should do it. But so this one, I guess, I don't
Well, it's
know.
just interesting because it's like he's doing another Mandy with this like
Right.
necro whatever one, and then this other one is he trying to do like a Cronenberg sort of like mainstream level, like not mainstream mainstream. Like, is he
Right.
still going to be weird, or is he actually just going to try and make this like
Like a movie, like a regular, like
mainstream
a,
commercial
yeah.
movie about like
Ugh,
seductive vampires that
I don't know.
everybody that's like what they do with vampires all the time.
All the time
Um,
because, yeah.
they should make a seductive werewolf movie, but like, I mean, Halloween had the one chick who was like banging, but I mean, like, totally
Right.
just like sexualize the werewolf and like
Yeah.
lots of doggy sex. Like,
Uh-huh.
make it seem really just like
Yeah.
sensual and taboo. But so I have noticed something though, like I couldn't pinpoint it, and then I finally realized that like all the people I know who love Mandy are the same people who like these like bands that just play like generic drum machines and scream over them, or like
Yeah.
math rock where they'll
Hmm.
just also like just do a random breakdown in a different key and a different time signature. That sounds like shit, but because they somehow pulled it off and it works, like people love
Well, yeah,
them.
it's elevated music. So like you just
Yeah,
don't get it if you don't
yes.
like it. Like what? No,
Yeah.
because it's terrible and it doesn't make any sense. You just don't
That's like people trying
understand.
to sell me on improvisational jazz. I'm like,
No.
okay, sure.
Yeah, hard pass.
I'm all
Yeah.
good.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for it. Like it'll probably be extra gory and extra violent, and then that'll be it.
Maybe.
Unless he does try and go like a more streamlined story. But
Yeah. I mean, I like Oscar Isaac,
yeah,
but Kristen Stewart, I was never a fan of, but she's growing on me slowly. But
I
I
thought
don't
she
know.
was like done with Hollywood or something for a minute. She had her like weird, like I'm not
Well,
like
well,
she's
she got caught making out with a older married director while she was with Robert Pattinson, and then she disappeared for a while and came back and was like, "I'm a
I'm a
gay woman,"
dude or whatever. She had that thing.
and I don't blame. But now I feel like it works for her. I feel like maybe she should have, yeah.
They will
She
find out.
went away, she found herself and came
I
back. Maybe she
guess
went to like how they have gay camp. Maybe she went to straight camp and they were
maybe.
they like
Yeah,
reverse conditioned her love for
yeah,
men. We're like, this
dude.
is not what you need.
Hollywood is so fucked. Like we
She
always
seems
knew it
to
was
have come
fucked.
into her own
Yeah.
more now.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Hollywood, everything's fucked.
Everything's
Yeah.
fucked.
And rich people. Hollywood,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely Hollywood.
Yeah.
They
Huh.
should just do a Monster Candy on that Nickelodeon kid diddling
Oh yeah.
documentary that came out. That's some
And then
more,
we could
that's some
t-
horrific shit.
we could talk about how The Rock is like 7 hours late to movie sets and pissing in bottles and doing all kinds of other weird, unprofessional shit
Hey,
that's
hey, hey.
causing everyone to
Do
be
not,
upset.
nope, nope. We will not desecrate the rock on this podcast. I
I
have
don't
my
know.
limits.
Sounds like he's
I
going
have
through
my
something.
Well, I mean, yeah, We all do. We all got egos. Shit
I
happens.
guess. He's, you know,
I'm sure there's a good reason.
you can't be that disciplined for that long and not have like a time period where you're just like, oh, and you just go off the rails a little bit. Like you can't.
Oh, yeah, totally. I had like, 6, 7 years of that.
Yeah. So
Went to
maybe,
jail, did
yeah,
the whole
maybe this is
thing.
his
It was
time.
fun.
Just like, I can't fucking think straight. Give me a bottle. I need to piss. Oh,
I mean, honestly, though, I recommend it.
but yeah, you got to blow off steam. You can't just keep it all in.
Yeah, and it helps you like gain focus, see what you actually really like doing and want. And
Yeah.
some people decide that that's what they like doing and what they want, and that's unfortunate. But others are like, okay, I did that. I'm good. Let's
It
be
would
productive again now.
be awesome if that's just the path he stayed on from now on. Like
Oh
when
yeah, he
fully
just like
caged.
started doing cocaine all the time
Yeah, it
and
was
like
just
bought a
fuck.
raven and a Komodo dragon and like
Yeah.
started wearing like like leopard print leather
Yeah.
jackets and
Oh yeah.
I mean
I'd actually respect that more because I feel like that's more genuine. Like
he
you're
starts hanging out with Colin McGregor and we're like, uh-oh.
yeah.
Oh
Oh yeah.
no.
Yeah.
If he shows up hanging out with like Colin McGregor and Johnny Depp, there's no going back.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Johnny Depp's the real one though. Like once you like see him hanging out with that dude, nothing good's gonna happen.
No. Yeah, Johnny
Bless his
Johnny
heart.
Depp. 21 Jump Street. You got anything else?
No, I don't. I'm done being excited about international underground death fighting. That's really just deathmatch wrestling. And
Hopefully. Maybe. Maybe it's actually like death
it's not.
matches.
You were right. You're right. And I'm so disappointed in myself for having hope in something like that.
I don't
Not
know.
that I think people should be killing each other like that, but
Eh.
I do think there should be depends on who it is.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
think there should be a
Sometimes you gotta let it
documentary
out.
that's happening. Yeah, I mean,
Uh.
if it's consenting adults that want to kill each other,
Right. Like
they
a
sign off on it.
kumite.
I don't think that you should like kidnap people and make them fight to the death. I mean, unless they did shitty things, then sure. But
Right.
if you're into it, then fuck, and you want to make some money. Like, if I want to fight someone to the death to make a bunch of money, who's telling me? You
Well,
shouldn't be able to tell me I can't do that.
maybe it's more a documentary on like the kumite thing back in the day. Like blood
I
sport,
doubt it.
like real,
I doubt it. It's about fucking wrestling.
Well, fuck. All right. I got a couple. The baby in the basket.
Yep.
Did you see that?
I read about it just a few moments ago.
All right. Yeah. So, all right. It's set in World War II, set in 1942, where as World War II rages on, the nuns of an isolated Scottish monastery, St. Augustine's, prepare for an incoming storm front. During the night, a baby in a basket is left on the doorstep, and the sisters take it in to care for it. As the evening goes on, one nun, Sister Agnes, soon suspects the child is the son of the devil. That sounds cool. At least it sounds a little different. I know nuns, ever
So
since
many
the
nuns.
nun, right? But
So many nuns right now.
I do like World War II movies.
Same.
So, and possession films can be good as long as they're done well. So,
Agree.
so we'll see. Saving Private Ryan meets Rosemary's Baby.
It'd be cool.
Yeah, could be cool. There's hope. There's always hope. The other
Is
thing,
there
I mean, not really, but I just like to say that to give people hope, false hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about faith, right?
That depends.
Right. We talked about this a little bit not too long ago. Actually, it might have been 1 or 2 episodes ago with Terry, with Gucci T, was the Faces of Death remake,
Mm-hmm.
and how we discussed the Blair Witch remake, which is like, well, the whole point of it was that people thought it was real. So how are you going to do that? This one, I'm thinking the same thing. And the plot of it is doesn't give me see, it's like half cool and half like, here we go. But did you read anything about it?
Mm-mm.
All right. So the new plot revolves around a female moderator of a YouTube-like website whose job is to weed out offensive and violent content, and who herself, here's the part where I'm like, eye roll, is recovering from serious trauma. And it's like, so we're going to have, it's going to be about her trauma. It's, the underlying theme is probably going to be that. But she stumbles upon a group that is recreating the murders from the original film, which I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, it's not really like a remake though. It's like a meta version
it's like
of
a universe of.
Right. So
I don't totally hate that, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know what to think about it. I just hate like modern day stuff. Like, like, so the whole thing is like, in the age of misinformation, she has to figure out like if is it real or like what's going on, or with the murders. I don't know.
So does she like send it to Snopes? Is that what she does?
Right? Or Alex Jones or something.
What does the Wikipedia of Faces of Death say about it?
Right. Yeah.
That shit's gonna be in there.
Oh, totally. Well, it has to be. Which again is like, I get it. There's a lot of gullible people that just kind of dig their heels into whatever kind of ideology, whoever they want to believe. They're just like, that's my team. So this is who I'm fucking believing, and I'll believe anything they say.
There's also people who go online and believe that some directors are making a documentary about international death fighting. So let's just stop shooting, like firing shots over here.
I'm just saying.
Feeling a little sensitive right now.
This is, I'm not attacking you, but
not intentionally. Not intentionally. But it still hurts.
It's triggering your trauma.
Yeah. This is my trauma response.
Yeah. I don't know. Like you said, like I like it's half cool.
Yeah.
Like it, but I just really hate movies nowadays because it's a theme now. So which I guess there's always been a little bit of a theme. It's just real heavy-handed where they make whatever the main character, like whatever her personal attachment is or relation to the thing, it becomes more about her personal issue than the thing that she's doing.
Right.
And it's like, enough of that. I just, that the premise is cool. The copycat murders from the original film. But no. So those are two things to look out for. And that's all I got. You got anything else?
I thought that you'd have the Evil Dead thing in there.
No. We've got a few more to do. It's coming up soon, so
okay.
Decided to keep it short. Plus, we're crossing some streams tonight, so I figured we'll just keep it pithy.
Pithy?
Yeah, buddy. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Well, that's been time to get caged after horror news. Yeah. Oh man, Arcadian. I can't even hide. I can't even fake my disappointment with this film.
Well, let's start out then about what we liked.
All right, let's well, I'll read the synopsis, the short one.
Okay.
Again, it sounds so much better than the movie. A father and his twin. Whoa, they were twins?
Twins don't have to be identical.
No, I know, but they just didn't look even like they were the same age. Anyway, a father and his twin teenage sons fight to survive in a remote farmhouse at the end of the world. At the end of the world. Such a weird way to say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all
And
right,
the
would you?
only thing this guy has directed is like music videos. He did visual effects for Everything All at Once, Everything
Yeah,
Everywhere All at Once. But other than that, the stuff he's done, it's been music videos.
yeah, he did. He directed a short, which, I didn't see. And then he
Yeah, The
wrote,
Folded Ocean.
he was a writer on Reptile, which, you know,
Yeah, I didn't. I heard that wasn't great, so I haven't watched it yet. Yeah,
and then,
but
well, but the writer, Mike Nylon or Nealon,
mhm.
he did a bunch of stuff. He at least produced a bunch of Cage stuff. Um,
Yes,
yeah,
he produced like The Unbearable Weight, Willy's Wonderland,
right,
and then some that were not very popular.
right.
Well, not that those, well, Unbearable was popular. I don't know that Willy's Wonderland was, but it's popular with me.
Mm-hmm. It
Um,
is with us. We enjoyed it.
but yeah, and then the only other one he wrote was Braven, which I don't
Yeah,
know what that is. So this will be like the least cagey movie you'll ever watch because he's really not in it, guys. Like
not.
he's like dying in the whole thing. He's just sleeping. He's
Yeah,
sleeping. He's in the beginning. He's in there enough to let you know that he cares about his kids
that he's
and
there.
that he's a good father and that he's present and cares about what they're up to and wants to keep them safe. But other than that, he lets you know that and then you don't really see him until he decides to be there, like be a martyr at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
The end that didn't make sense. So there was
Mm-mm.
that. So but let's not go there yet.
Okay.
Let's bring it back in and
Deep
so
breaths.
yeah. Let's just hold that. Let's
Okay.
keep that internalized and talk about what we like. So I
Ooh.
liked
Yes.
that this is a monster movie, and there were parts of it that were creepy, like the finger thing that never
Yes.
happened again. So that's totally unexplained. Like they didn't use that anymore. So like there's this cool thing that the creatures can do, and they're kind of like xenomorph, wolfy, doggy things.
Force-like things.
Which did you hear what they're based on? Because I'm gonna bring that up in a minute,
No.
and I cannot fucking believe what the inspiration was because it's from one of my favorite Disney cartoons.
Yeah, I just absolutely didn't. Wait, can I guess?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
the
you guess and I'll tell you.
is it the magpies? Heckle and Jekyll?
No,
Oh.
no. So, there's a cartoon called The Goofy Movie, and
Hmm.
there's a part where Max, who's Goofy's
Mhm.
kid, has a nightmare that he's turning lame and turning into his dad. And it happens like he goes from normal to having big buck teeth and like a more of an elongated snout than he already has, and
Right.
then he turns into a dork. So this fucking dude, and I pulled up the original drawings because he drew these like cartoony drawings. His original inspiration for these monsters was Goofy from Disney, which makes sense because these creatures don't make sense. They don't fucking
No.
make sense. But
Mm-mm.
wait, sorry, we're not
Oh
supposed
yeah,
to go
we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
what we
What?
liked about it.
Yeah.
I like that there's monsters. I like that the monsters can do
Same.
some cool shit.
Yeah.
Some cool shit. Some of the cool shit they do also we'll get to the not love
Right.
part because these monsters
That's
don't really totally make sense other than being kind of cool. So I liked the monsters. I thought the acting was fine. And I
yeah.
liked that it was an hour and a half. Alrighty, what did you like
Yeah.
about it?
Again, the parts that did have the monsters in it, I liked because there were monsters. We like monsters here.
We do.
The
And it was
thing,
an original monster. That's another thing I liked. It was a monster that didn't look like any other monster that had this jaw that went
Yeah.
really fast and went
yeah, it
snapping
definitely,
like a nutcracker. And
yeah.
I like that I haven't seen
Dude, you
anything
know what
like
it?
or did that.
No, you know what it reminded me of?
Mm-mm.
The carnival toys, like the
Oh,
snappers where you
snappers.
hold. Yeah, you
Yeah.
hold,
Yeah.
that's what it made me think of.
Oh, also the wind-up toys.
Right.
You know, that would have the mouth as they walked.
The
Like that. I
chatters.
mean, it's like super, super fast, guys. Like it's like, yeah, like the teeth.
Mhm.
It's like that. And they're like really like the snout's super elongated, but then the head's a rectangle. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get there later.
Well, yeah. We're not there yet. Not there yet, oops. Uh, the thing I thought it did, well, first of all, I'll agree again with you about the acting was fine. Like the people,
Good character development.
yeah, there's a lot of that, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Yeah, it took a while to get anywhere.
Yeah. The thing I thought it did extremely well, like the one thing I thought it did, well, two, I guess. One was building up like the suspense as the scene, as any scene with monsters in it would
Mhm.
come along.
Yeah.
That I thought it did well. And then I thought it
I mean,
also
when that finger thing happened, I
right,
was like, yes, this movie's about to happen now. It's gonna be fucking like this is it.
right.
It's gonna go wild. And like,
And yeah, not quite. Went wild for like a second and then not. Oh, but we're not there yet. And I
it's
thought
so
it
hard
did
to keep this inside.
right. I thought it goes along with that point of the suspense is I just thought it did a good job early on of not showing what the creatures were. Like it would show a hand or it would show just like a shadow or you'd hear a sound. And I like that because every good monster movie should have some suspense. You don't need to see the monsters just like in the first Alien. Like you barely saw that thing until the very end, which kind of like this, like I get it, what they were kind of going for, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, so not showing the monsters too much, I liked, and building the suspense.
Yeah.
And that's about where it ends. Yeah.
All right. I have to get a big breath for this one.
Ugh.
What didn't I like about it? Okay, so I have a real problem with movies when they're so dark that you can't see what's going on,
Yeah.
especially if like this, like I said, this is a monster that doesn't look like any other monster I've seen. It takes from different things, and ultimately it doesn't make sense. The top of the head is this like thin rectangle and it has a giant snout.
No
and
sense.
certain times you see it, it looks more like Alien and does not have that shape of face, which I don't understand. There are several scenes where you see this monster, and in other scenes, it looks like a completely different creature. So
Mhm.
I was actually under the impression that these things all were different types of creatures by the end because the tiny, like, in focus shots I got of them, they never looked the same. And then the scene I keep mentioning with a finger, like, and this like
Right.
nail coming out elongated,
Long ass
like,
arm. It's like, what?
that looked like a humanoid
Right.
kind of thing way more than like even the shape of the finger, because you see their claws and their feet later and that's not what they look like. So I want answers
Yeah. Well,
from somebody
in one of
who did this movie.
right, when he falls into the little gully when one of the sons is trying to get home from seeing the chick he likes. And there's a scene of where you see the hand, or maybe that was even in the earlier scene, but I think it was that scene where he's like flecking the light, his like little flint thing, and you see like
It like
what
runs off.
yeah, what looks like a human hand or a humanoid-ish hand with just like really long fingernails. And I was like, oh shit, and you hear it. And I was like, oh no, is this a werewolf movie? Are these all like humanoid wolf dudes? Which he alludes to in the scene prior.
So like some screenshots, it looks like a wolf on all
Right.
fours.
Right.
The head shape, and then others, it's just all forehead and no ears.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
even looking up screenshots every time, it's different. Or like this one with a giant hunchback and Godzilla spikes on it.
Yep.
That's what I mean. Like, I mean, I really like movies and different things that do like give each character their own look. Like even like Dark Crystal, all the Skeksis are Skeksis, but they have
Right.
some very different things about them. But in order to do that, you need to actually build the characters and show them, and maybe show them together so the person watching gets that, because
Right.
at any given time you only see one. They talk about more being out there, and there's like some spots where you might see a couple, but it's never really clear that maybe they all have different looks. So it gets confusing that it's just like they live in this world with like monsters,
Right, right.
but it's alluded that it's just like one type of creature. So like like we've said with a lot of movies, I think this would have been a great Twilight Zone episode
Yeah,
timed movie.
yeah.
Like, dude, if you put this in black and white, cut out some of the bullshit, the premise is
Like
good. And
40 minutes of the bullshit.
yeah, the premise totally calls back to a lot of the like stories from the 1960s and 1970s. It's
Hmm.
basically like these monsters have taken over. The kid kind of says something about maybe they came from the stars, like because this one kid's trying to study them and figure it out. So maybe it's like this alien invasion. But even though they're coming out of the ground, which I don't know, if maybe
Yeah.
they're spaceship. That's the thing is like
Nothing makes sense.
the continuity, like it doesn't, yeah, there's not a cohesive story as far as the lore goes. There is
Hmm.
like a cohesive story with like these people are living in a way where at night they have to lock shit up. They have
Right.
neighbors that are like really set up that are friends with them, but they aren't gonna fuck with them and help them any more than they
Right,
need
right.
to
It's
because they
it's
don't know when
apocalypse
they'll run
time.
out of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And other than that, we know that these holes kind of show up in the ground and because they have like probably a cave system and as the holes show up, that's where these
Maybe they're part
monsters
ant.
come
Who
from.
knows?
But like they don't there's nothing there's no more story like whether they're just trying to like kill everybody, whether they want resources, whether if they kill you you turn into one of them, like there's no lore. So
None.
without that, how can a monster lover love this monster movie? Like there has to be something. They are making a movie for humans to feel for the humans while trying to make it a monster movie, and that doesn't make sense if you don't highlight
No.
the monsters. And this movie could give fuck all about the monsters, other than that they did do an original design, but the anatomy does not make sense.
Right. It
in
the
a lot of it.
monsters seemed like an afterthought of the story
Right.
of people living in the end of the world or like post-apocalyptic. Or is it? But we don't even know. Like we don't know what happened. They kind of
Right.
go over something a little bit when they're doing the little game or giving you ideas, but they're two different
Right.
ideas of what could happen, what happened or what they are.
And they
But
kind of talk
also,
about how there was like 30 something different areas of people living, but they called them something weird, but they didn't really explain what that
right,
was. Because at the end, they're like, oh, we can go wherever because there's this many grids, but then they don't fucking say what that is or how it happened.
right,
It's
right.
this movie's all just about emotions and this like love story between the kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
And
sucks because they could have played really into the sci-fi monster aspect and this movie could have been cool. Like the
yeah,
cinematography didn't even give a fuck about the monsters.
no,
It looked great when the kid's riding the fucking thing around and like,
his golf cart, his modified golf
yeah,
cart or truck.
like all that. They did this artistic cinematography, and then when it comes to the monsters, you just see them kind of like darting around, which at the beginning is cool and it
Right.
builds it up. But then when it comes time to show them, you're getting mixed signals the whole time and no lore.
Zero. Yeah, I agree. It was for me like the monsters didn't make sense, so they kind of sucked. But there were cool aspects of them, but they still kind of sucked because you didn't know what the fuck they were, what they looked like really.
What
And
they were
again,
doing there.
what they were doing, why they got there, anything. But there was a sure hell of a lot of story and setup between the people. Like I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, enough with the people. Like, what are these fucking monsters? Why do they only come out at night? Apparently, why? Like, why are they? Why are they?
Well,
What are they?
and if you're not going to explain that, then at least do what they used to do in like the 50s and 60s and cut it shorter
Yeah,
and do this like scary kind of build up. And then at the very end, you just like show the face of the monster and you have no answers. Like that kind of thing is intriguing and
right.
interesting. This kind of thing is like, well, if you're going to show them this much, like, why wouldn't you give them any kind of story or like special powers other than a finger that can stretch out?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
do they have any other powers? Because like he screamed, that one like screamed with all the teeth, and like other than that, they're just basically like dog xenomorph things,
Yeah.
right?
I guess. Well, that's the thing. We don't know.
Well, and
Which,
then the one he caught was like super small, so I guess it was a
right.
baby or something.
Maybe. Who
I
knows?
don't know. And then when
Nobody.
it's under the bed, you look at it and it just looks like a kind of like a dog.
Hmm.
And then the next one you see has a totally different head. Like it's just so it's I
And they were pretty nonchalant about it being like in the room after it gets out. They're just like, oh, it's in the corner.
Oh, that's true. So these kids one of the kids captures one, and the other one, because he's trying to be like a badass, is like, I'm gonna kill it, because
Yeah.
killing an animal in a cage, big fucking deal, or a monster in a cage. Sorry. The other one was to study it because he's like thinks he's a fucking scientist or whatever. And so it gets out and it goes under the bed, and like they jump and are kind of like looking, but like not really freaking out, which is kind of crazy since these things are apparently ending the world. Like I would be
Right.
fucking yelling. I'd be chewing my brother's ass apart. I'd be like, they end up stabbing it, but it's like, I don't know. It was weird. It's a fucking weird movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. And it almost had like a fucking M. Night vibe to it.
Right.
But there was
Yeah.
no twist.
No twist.
Oh, except for the very end when there's a fucking burning down house and the kids are leaving. Nicolas Cage has given his life to save his children.
Yeah.
And the love interest girl who's with them is like, there's only one left. And then they get in the golf cart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get in their super high powered golf cart, and all of a sudden a like wheel,
Definitely a wheel.
a flaming wheel that I counted at least like 30 faces in.
Yeah, I mean, it
Or
was
something, or body parts of these monsters. And
it.
I don't understand how they said there's one left and then there's a wheel of all of them. Do they die and make a wheel of fire to kill children? Is that their lore?
Well, here's the thing.
Did I miss
Okay.
that? I had to
So
rewind it just to make sure she said there's one left.
right. So just so people don't even have to watch this movie. So Nicolas
Yeah, just
Cage
don't
in the
watch it.
beginning, yeah. He has his two sons and he's raising them in the post world. And then he gets hurt. And they try and get him medicine, and there's this big chunk in the middle where he is out of commission. He's sick in a bed. So at the climax, the last
Not
act.
just that. He's sick and he's mossy or like moldy. Did you see his face when they get him back to the house and lay him down? He has like mold growing on his face.
Well, I think
Kind of like fuzzy as shit.
Right. I think that was probably just
Debris from
when he blew up.
the tunnel.
Because he goes and rescues his son.
the
He
ash
fell
and
in the sun.
everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he,
Right.
tries to get his son out of this.
You talk your sense at me.
Right. This little crevice he fell into because he had to get home before dark and blows up a bunch of things and gets injured in the process. It's the first time he tried to give his life to save his son. So anyway.
He's such a nice dude.
He is.
Nicolas Cage, thank you for your service.
So the last act, all these fucking creatures. Oh. Before that, can we talk about like the weird security dudes that came from nowhere?
Yeah. So were they ranchers or like
I don't know.
People don't even want to help their neighbors, but then they have like a fucking barn of hillbillies.
Yeah, I don't know. They all had guns and shit. So
they had like big guns.
Right. So it was like their little own security force that lived in the barn. And yeah, I was like, wait.
Kill a kid for like, or like kneecap a kid for like medicine.
I was like, who the fuck are these people? Again, something that doesn't make sense. They spend so much time developing the two sons, a little bit of Nicolas Cage, and the daughter, which was the dad a stepdad because they did not look like they were related.
Oh yeah.
But then they just have these like evil bad guy security character guys just come in during the last act, and you're like, who are all these people?
They were like weird and rapey too. They weren't even
Right.
like security guards.
No.
It was like a barn of cronies. Like,
Which is weird because the family is all like nice and proper and like, oh yeah. And then they have like these
and
complete,
trying to conserve rations, and
right,
conserve resources. So like, why would they have like 10
complete
fucking, like,
scumbags working for him
hillbillies?
with a young teenage daughter.
Right. That's the thing that I was like, these dudes, because the whole like thing, even with the kid trying to shoot his kneecap, they had like a very like rapey vibe to them. And I'm
Mhm.
like, why?
Or were they trying to shoot his dick? Because they were spreading
Oh,
his
it was
legs
his
apart.
knee. Oh, were they?
Yeah. Either way, it was fucking weird.
It was weird.
So yeah. So then all this shit happens, the creatures come out, and while they're back at the house, everything's going to shit. Nicholas.
Hold
Uh,
on. We have breaking news.
uh-oh.
Breaking news. The writer
Yeah.
is Nicolas Cage's agent and manager.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Perfect.
That's
It
why
all
he got
makes
this-
sense now.
That's
It
why
all makes
he has a
sense.
movie. Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
paid for him to make this movie.
Oh, man. Well, it definitely clears some things up as to why this didn't make any sense.
And Cage, being a method actor, apparently took his kids
Which,
and lived out in the middle of nowhere alone for 3 months.
of course,
So that
it
was
did.
fun for them.
Jesus Christ. Being a method actor, though, was a
Agent.
good part of the movie. Because
I wish I
as
had
Nick,
known that beforehand.
right, as the last act comes in, Nicolas Cage gets his medicine that they start nursing him back, and then as the monsters are coming to destroy the house, he rises to the occasion and is like, "We're gonna fucking fight," and is one-armed batting monsters away. Anyway,
He dies.
the wheel.
You don't need to see it.
Yeah, he dies. The wheel was exactly. I mean, it was right out of Critters. The rolling ball of Critters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right.
When that happened, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Now there's a giant, and it wasn't like a small wheel. It was like a 30-foot, no, probably like a 50-foot high wheel of these creatures just rolling. Like, why not just run after? Like, they're obviously crazy fast and agile, but instead they're going to all form a giant wheel and roll after the fucking
Flaming
golf
wheel.
cart. Flaming wheel, too. Which, again, I mean, they get stabbed, they get shot, they die, they get decapitated, they die. But
Yeah, these things are not super resilient.
no,
Or like a creature that
unless
apparently
it's
ended the world or was trying
right.
to, like,
Unless
they're
it's
fast.
a house blowing up, and apparently they're impervious to that because
Right.
that didn't do anything, which was another thing didn't make sense to me. But the wheel I thought was
one
fucking
was
ridiculous.
just barely stabbed and it died.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I think there needs to be some fucking lore, because maybe there are different types of them and different shit happens and certain elements do different things. But you got to explain that shit, people. You got to explain it
That's why I was so disappointed in it,
or allude
because
to something.
yeah, because it didn't need to be as bad as it was. Like, there were so many opportunities.
There was fire through that whole movie. Like, you could have alluded to them being okay with fire.
Right.
Or whatever the fuck they are, because we don't know what they are.
But they're afraid of fire because when he's lighting his little flint thing in the fucking gully, they're like, oh shit. Ah. So yeah, but there were so many opportunities that you could have just given a little more explanation to what
maybe
these
it's
were.
like how the Mogwai are scared of water, but when they get water, they turn
Maybe.
into gremlins. So maybe these things are scared of fire, but when they get fire, they turn into wheels.
Yeah, maybe. But we'll never know because it was never explained. Ah.
I just created the lore. That's it.
Yeah, well, you could tell this was like, I don't write a lot.
Nicolas Cage's agent.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm going to
I'm
write this
usually an
crazy
agent,
story.
So
But again, like, you don't know if there were some parts cut out of it that would have made it make more sense.
I just like that I like read different reviews of it, and they say things like, it's a post-apocalyptic narrative showcasing a world decimated by an unspecified catastrophic event. Like, every review is like, unspecified, unknown. It's like, what is it? And I'm like, yep, samesies, buddies. I feel the
Yeah.
same.
Which is fine. You don't necessarily have to say exactly what happened, but at least explain the monsters a little bit so you know what they are, or at least explain it enough to where the audience knows that they're not all the same.
Literally a 30-second flashback of
Right.
like a spaceship landing and 5 different looking monsters getting out would have explained
Right.
a billion things in this movie, or like fucking anything.
Right.
Anything.
Or like, yeah, there
Something.
was this weird radioactive thing and people went into the woods and just became humanoids. And you'd be like, all right,
Here.
cool.
I think the monsters know I'm talking about them. No, there's Fisher cats screaming outside my window.
Uh-oh. It's the things.
I mean, those are the closest things to those monsters
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, just take out those weird rapey cronies and like add some lore.
Mm-hmm. They could have
or
been good.
something. It could have even been like the kid who was a scientist. Maybe he found like some fucking journal from someone else or
Something.
anything. I mean, think of
Anything.
fucking anything. There's like any way you could have addressed and just given us like a little bit of information about what the fuck was going on.
Right.
Other
Yeah.
than that one kid being like, I think they came from the stars. Okay, whatever. Doesn't give us shit.
Yep. Like, yeah, it bummed me out. And it took so long to get to like any sort of meat and potatoes with monsters. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, we had 40 minutes of like nothing.
nothing.
Just like
Up.
people stuff. And then like, well, kind of the cave thing when he gets hurt, but like it's so quick and vague. But this wasn't even like psychological enough to be a slow burn. It was
No.
literally just like I don't even know.
Let's work on the fucking golf cart. Oh, you got to put the relay in a different way. Oh shit. Okay, it starts now, Dad. Thanks. Oh, I like this girl. You know,
Oh my
it
God.
just
Living in the woods is so creepy.
yeah.
Sorry, they sound like babies dying.
Uh-huh.
Like because they try to sound like an injured animal, so you roll up on them and they kill you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not people, but
They're prey.
animals.
Yeah.
But I have a quarry at the end of my property, so they're screaming by the quarry, so it's
So
just like echoing
echoing
repeatedly,
everywhere.
like, sounds like someone's dying. So
Yeah, I think I talked about this on here before, but years ago when I was younger, maybe early teens, maybe even a little younger, up my cottage, our next door neighbor had the you know how back in the 70s, in the 80s, they'd have like the big driftwood things in their front yards and shit.
hmm
So I guess a baby owl fell out of the tree and fell by one of these things and was just like screeching. And for whatever reason, the mother didn't just get it, but it was flying around like in a circle, the driftwood. But this was going on for like 2 hours, just like high pitch. It sounded like a baby, but like screeching. We're like, what the fuck is that? So we had to go like look. And it was at night, so you really couldn't see. All you could see was like, every time the owl would pass at one of the yard lights, like you'd see the shadow.
Owls are terrifying.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about? They're going crazy outside. Well, no, I think it's killing something. There's like
Now there's a
other
death.
animal noising. There's either an orgy going on or like some fisher cats or coyotes just like murdering
Something.
shit. But so one of the first years I lived on my property, I was just waking up and I got a text from my husband being like, "Holy shit! Like, there's a great owl." As we were walking up, it flew off.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck yeah, awesome. So I like got up because he's like, you can still see it. Like
You're like
it went in
Tootsie
this tree.
Pops.
It went in this tree, come out. And I'm like, cool. And I was like, wait, you have like Delilah's out there. Thank God it was before we had the Chihuahua. And he's like, she's fine, which she is. She's a bigger dog.
Right.
But anyways, I go running out because I want to see it. And like, as I get out, I see like Christian yelling at Delilah and pulling her back, and I roll up, and it's just a fucking rabbit's body. This great owl with its talons ripped off its head, so it's just a headless rabbit. I still have the picture of it, and like I just look up, and this thing's just fucking eating a rabbit's head, and I was like,
Or
like
rabbits.
it was like Secret of Nim flashbacks as a child, and I was like, oh my God, that's right. Owls are terrifying. They
They
aren't
are
cute.
terrifying.
They're
They will
terrifying.
murder
Like,
you.
remember the Secret of Nim? They're crazy. So yeah, it's funny because now like we have it's amazing because we do have a lot of different types of owls here, and we do have two great owls who hang out on my property, but they're giant, and I do have a Chihuahua, and there are
Right.
times where like, especially at dusk, like I'm
Mhm.
walking them and I hear like the whoo, 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 and I like look over and I'm like,
Ooh,
God
we're
damn
gonna
it,
get
and
you.
like
Ooh, ooh.
pick him up. I'm like, we're going back inside. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they are beautiful, but fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
You
they're
wanna know the
rad.
bad side
But
of an
yeah, they
owl.
will fuck some shit up.
Birds in general, man.
Mhm.
People who have never lived in rural areas don't realize how terrifying birds are. I
Fucking
mean, they're
dinosaurs.
fucking raptors.
They're
Yeah,
dinosaurs.
like they will fuck you up. And they're
They're
spiteful. You get close to their
definitely.
shit and they're like, I'm done with you.
Oh yeah, they're definitely more interesting than this fucking movie, Arcadian.
That's true. That's why we stopped talking about the movie.
Yeah,
Talk about
way more
scary
interesting.
birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie, I had good hopes for it. I had high hopes because Nicolas Cage was kind of on a roll.
This is going to be my lowest candy corn score yet.
Yeah, agreed. Same. I was like, oh, I'm like, all right, what can I find to like give it? Just didn't bump it up a little bit. I'm like, there's not really a whole lot. So let's
Yeah, if
yeah.
they would have if the cinematography on the monster parts would have been there, I would have given it like a 1.5. Maybe even a 2 if there were good monster shots. But the fact is they had this kind of original design, all that like not a good design.
Right.
And they didn't that it was so dark and like flashy, and I even changed the settings on my TV. Like you really didn't get a good look at them, and the parts that you did, it was confusing because they always looked different. So like this is a movie if you want to like piss off monster fans, you want to piss off horror movie fans, and even I mean if you want to just piss people off. Thank God it was an hour and a half. I'm giving it a half of a candy corn.
Oh, all right. It's
I'm
lower than
sorry.
mine.
It made me like look, they put enough money into it.
Right.
They could have done such like tiniest things that didn't even cost anything that would have made this better. They could have literally omitted a shit ton of stuff and then just like gave us a glimpse of any kind of lore. People, if you're gonna make a monster movie, there has to be lore.
Yes.
Even if you don't want them to connect with the monsters, it doesn't matter. You want them to at least
It's got to be explained a little
feel
bit.
scared. I'm not scared of these guys. Like, what the fuck should we even be scared? Like, what kind of, yeah, they killed people, but even then, that was so late in the movie.
Right.
But even
Right.
the part with Nicolas Cage and his son, like, you don't even know the level of danger they are. Even with them locking down the house, it just seems like predators, which, there are many levels of that. And it didn't seem that fucking scary.
No.
They just kind of came to the door. It was more like they were doing precaution stuff because they just didn't want to fucking have to deal with a wild animal.
Yeah. 90% of the movie was prep.
Right. So, like, please make more monster movies. Please. But please, lore. I
Right.
don't fucking care if we like them, we hate them, whatever. But, like, you need to know what the monsters are. Or if there's not going to be any lore, it better be scary as shit.
Right. And a lot of monsters. That's the thing. Like this
And
to
a lot
me,
of, like, blood.
a lot of it, which you didn't really, I mean, most of the blood
No,
you
there
saw
wasn't.
was,
This is like a G-rated
yeah.
monster movie.
Yeah.
Hotel Transylvania scared me more than this.
It seemed to me, first of all, way too much story, and a lot of monster movies fall into that, like you just said. It's like you develop the people so much and forget about the monsters. It's got to be the other way around. Like we don't care that much about the people. We want to see the monsters. That's the payoff. This seemed to me like a movie of a first-time writer or someone that doesn't know how to write movies. I'm not saying like I'm a fucking amazing movie writer or script writer, but there's stories you can, like, we're songwriters, we write songs, we know how to tell a story. Like, you have to, they developed the wrong stuff. It just didn't seem like they really knew what they were doing. As a consumer, I'm watching and I'm going like, none of this stuff is making sense. It's too long.
Yeah.
And it
And
makes
I
me
actually, on the opposite side, I like attaching to the humans and caring
right.
about them. Like, I actually like movies where there's like one that you're rooting for, and then when they get murdered, you're like, fuck.
Well, totally. I
It made
mean,
me like any of them.
right. You
It was
need
character
that
building
too.
for like nothing.
Right.
Like,
It's
there
just
was not one. Was there one person in this movie, if they would have died, you would have been bummed?
no. They're all
Right.
aside from Nicolas Cage, because he's Nicolas Cage and there were parts of
Even then,
Nicolas
no,
Cage
dude,
being
you don't
Nicolas
care about the
Cage.
monsters. You don't care about the fucking people. Yeah,
No.
he's a dad that cares about his kids.
Right.
But you know what? It's fucked up that that should even be a thing that makes you care about them, because dads should just care for their kids. Like,
Right,
it's
right.
the whole thing. I don't know. It's like
Eh,
there's no one you attach to, so it's a
No.
pointless fucking story. And visually, it wasn't fun. So like,
I
half a
wonder
candy corn, half a motherfucking candy corn.
I wonder if with the monsters, because the design wasn't good, I wonder if why they made everything so dark and everything so quick is
So
because when they did it and they got the product, they were like, oh, this looks crappy, so we're gonna have to kind of hide it with everything being dark. Because that's what it seemed like to me. Because when you could get a good look at them,
I'm
you
texting
still
you the picture of them,
you
the
still don't
design.
know what the fuck you're looking at. You're like, well, what is that? I don't. It's some sort of creature, obviously, but
What
what
I'm going
of
to
what?
send you will offer no clarity because it's
Right.
nothing. We should actually post it on our Instagram so everybody can see.
Yeah. So
It's like,
yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. For me, the parts I did like I thought were done well, so I will at least give it one candy corn for the parts done well, but that's not enough for anyone to go see this. And that averages out to 0.75 goofy looking, snap mouthy candy corns. 3/4 of a candy. This might actually be the lowest score ever, which bums me out because it had so much potential. It had potential and it just fucked it up. It just shit all over it. So, yeah, I don't think, yeah, what the fuck?
did you see it?
Yeah, I'm
You
looking
want
at
to
it
lower
right now.
that score now?
But I mean,
Praying
these,
mantis water bear. Creatures that have society. Insects, birds, praying mantis, water bear. What's a water bear? And why do they have a society? Like, what the fuck is this?
like these would have made more sense. Or even just saying something happened and it made the creatures of the forest mutate. So there's all kinds of different fucking things.
No, they're from outer space. I just looked it up. Director
Well,
said they're from fucking outer space. Like the
okay,
kid
well,
said, which makes me even more angry.
right. Because, well, yeah, make that more clear. Because all it seems
Yeah.
like in the fucking movies are just theories, which there's a couple of them. So you're like,
And they're coming from the ground and in tunnels, which fine. Maybe their spaceships crashed into the fucking ground and they started breeding and whatever, but you should explain that in like a 5-second clip of a spaceship just going into the ground
Yeah.
and then somebody digging
Something.
for a second, and then we would have picked up on it. Instead, you did nothing.
nope.
It looks like some shit went down and everyone closed themselves in and forest creatures started adapting and took over.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
And even these sketches make more sense than what the actual creatures look like.
Yeah, they're like spidery xenomorph, like
Right. To me, they reminded
changing all the
me
time.
of one of the later Alien sequels where they're all like,
Oh yeah, with Winona
running.
Ryder
Yeah,
and Rob Perlman.
yeah. Those
And they have the flimsy arms.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But they seemed like
Mhm.
the thing is they sounded like animals or like wolves.
Yeah.
So and with long fingernails, with human looking type hands, you naturally think, oh, there's some sort of humanoid creature thing. But
And just like you think, if you could make your limbs and nails get longer, you would use that more than once in a movie whilst attacking people. But apparently you
right.
just turn into a flaming wheel.
It's like a parlor trick.
That's literally your boss level of attacks is turning into a flaming wheel.
Yeah.
So hopefully this guy isn't some sort of psychic, because if so, we're in for some
We're
really
fucked.
scary shit, guys.
I don't know. Well, sorry you guys had to sit through this episode of Caged for this shitty movie. Arcadian.
Honestly, I think our episode is so much more entertaining than the movie.
It's
should be
definitely
thanking
more
us.
entertaining.
Thank us for our service, because
Yeah, you guys are welcome.
Hopefully you listen to this without watching it, and
We
now
might-
you know you don't have to.
We might have to put a disclaimer like on all the social media that says, listen to this before you watch the movie.
Yep. Usually we do the opposite.
Yeah.
This one, like,
because we
I
care.
don't know.
We don't want you people to sit through this pile of shit.
I mean, if you're bored and you haven't seen anything new in a while, just watch something that you love again before this.
Yeah.
Or
And it's
something you don't care that much about, but you're okay with. Watch that. That's fine.
It's been very rarely that I've said to not watch a movie because it was that bad. But this is definitely one of those times where I don't think, because there's just no point in watching it because you're just going to be confused.
Well, it's a letdown.
It is a letdown.
Not only the confusion, but it's a letdown. Like, I was so excited for a monster movie, and I knew it was going to be like on the drama end of things and probably a slow burn, but this was not that. It was just not a complete thought.
Especially because they were really like hyping this up.
But you know what? I think it is too, is like, I mean, this is his agent and manager. It's Cage.
Right.
They've probably been talking about this story with this team for so long. No, I'm serious. That in their mind, they probably think it's a cohesive story because they have this lore in their head.
Right. They're in on it, but everyone else isn't.
It's like when you're so immersed in stuff, like you forget that you're leaving out parts for people who have no idea. And who knows? Who knows if they did a test audience, like, or what they did, or if it was their fucking friends, or whatever. But
Who fucking knows?
Like, they really missed a very important part of either making it vague and terrifying, and like a statement piece where it ends and people are like, "Oh my god!" Like, I'm fucking freaked out because it seems so realistic. This could be our future,
right?
Or those are really fucking cool monsters that came from this awesome place, or they do this awesome thing, and like there's this cool lore. Like, I can't wait to see if they do a sequel because that was cool, and I like monsters.
Yeah, it was
like, what are you supposed to look forward to? I wonder if they got to a safe place, and I wonder if those two are going to have kids and repopulate
have to wait for
Earth.
Arcadian 2, Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, it could have been such a simple story that you just could develop a little more around the monsters. Yeah, you're like, man, you fucking missed a layup. Like, it was right there. All you had to do was cool monsters, little backstory as to what they are, and then the monsters doing some fucked up shit.
Right. That's why I'm mad, because I don't think the things that are there are bad.
Right.
It's that they're missing key elements to make it good.
Yeah.
And I think that's worse than it being a bad movie, because I think the people who did this could do better, and they're not.
Oh yeah.
And they should know better because they've been in this industry too fucking long.
Right.
To know that was acceptable and to spend that much money on that.
It seemed like it was lazy writing as opposed to simple writing, which are two different things. A lot of times people will get those confused and be like, oh, it's so simple, it's lazy. Like, no.
Right.
If it's simple, you have to try really hard to make sure everything is in order and everything is developed and everybody knows what the fuck is going on, because it's real easy to miss stuff like that with this movie. You're like, oh, well, there's some monsters and some things happening, and then like there's this drama between the people. Like, that's good enough. Like, No, there's got to be development within that line, within that storyline. But
Well, it's so crazy now too, because I watch a bit of more TV than I ever have, and a
Mhm.
lot of the new series, I mean, those fucking episodes now are an hour to an hour and a half
Oh yeah,
piece.
yep,
And so, you know, consumers and people are getting used to watching an hour and a half, no problem for something, and
right,
getting like a good deal of content, even though, you know, most of these are 8 episodes or whatever. But it's crazy that TV is able to, I feel like it's stepping in, especially in some of the more mainstream horror and sci-fi,
right.
whereas movies are not using their time well. It's
No,
crazy.
no, I agree.
Um, and I can watch these, you know, 8 episode series that each episode's an hour to an hour and a half, and I don't feel like they're too long, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time
Right.
because they can pack it enough to do it. And some nights I watch two. Some occasionally, if I stay up late, I might watch three. And that is
Right.
a fucking long ass movie. That's like a fucking Ben-Hur Braveheart
Yeah.
length movie. And I still feel like I got a lot out of it. You know, people need to use their time better and efficiently. And this is like a perfect example of a great runtime for a movie to tell an entire story, and yet they forgot the most basic parts of storytelling.
Right. Yeah. I
You
mean,
can't
hope.
have a villain. Like, could you imagine like a Disney movie or any movie with a villain and you don't know shit about them?
Yeah, they're just the thing. They're just
There's, I
there.
mean, the protagonist has got to be such. It can't just be this like
Yeah.
empty character
Yeah.
that,
No, I completely agree. I mean,
and if it
who?
is just a killing machine, you need that lore too. Like,
Right.
show it just tearing it, like one scene of it going through the forest and killing everything it comes into contact
Right.
with would have made this movie better, because you'd be like, oh, these things have no brain. They just like
Right.
kill.
Or one of the human beings saying, we don't know why they just kill stuff. Like they just destroy
Right.
things. There's no reason. And then
Yeah.
there you go.
Like a couple sentences. Anything.
Yeah,
Anything.
well,
Anything.
maybe his next project will be a little more just
Cohesive.
coherent. Yeah,
Coherent.
cohesive.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. It's just disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie was bad. It was disappointing because it's just missing
It's missing a lot for such a short
a
movie,
big part of the movie.
which,
And I don't
yeah.
know how they could, it passed and came out without
Yeah. I mean, if it was,
anything,
if you really like
a sentence talking about them.
character development and a movie about people, the,
But not even that. They didn't even, I mean, they did basically, but not even, like I said, none of us would care if any of them died. Like it was complete, like,
yeah, they weren't,
you
they're
were
really
attached
likable.
to nobody. They didn't even talk about where the mom went, I don't think. Like
If they did, I didn't,
there was no heartstrings tugged,
yeah,
and I'm somebody
it
who
wasn't important
really
enough for me to
gets
remember.
emotionally invested, but like not giving the villain any kind of story is
I did
a
dislike
fucking pedestrian ass move.
the other twin, not the twin that was in the It movies, the one that liked the chick.
Oh, I didn't even know that was that kid.
Yeah. I didn't like his brother. His brother seemed like a fucking
The
turd.
scientist?
Yeah. But the kid, the brother that had the love interest, I didn't like him.
Oh, the brother that was the kid from It.
No, the other kid.
What?
The kid with the longer
Was
hair.
it?
Yeah. The one that trapped the monster
Weird.
was the kid from It.
Yeah, the one with the love interest was a turd,
Yeah.
and that chick was kind of sketchy too.
Right. So I mean, I didn't care for them. I mean, I didn't really care for any of them, but those are the
Yeah,
ones that like
once.
irked me. I'm like, ugh,
He's grown up a bit.
yeah, like you're fucking everything up, dickhead. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody.
Oh, he was also in Metal Lords. That was a good movie.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna send you off to Betty Buys with the wonderful knowledge of never having to watch Arcadian. You're very welcome.
Yeah, but hopefully Cage number 8 will be Long Legs, which looks like it might have some legs on it.
Hopefully. Yeah.
They're building that up. That
Rim
fucking
shot.
movie already has lore and it hasn't even opened yet. We've got like stories, like it's coming together, it's building it up, which also could be a bad mood in case bad mood move in case it sucks.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna be so sad. But they
Yeah.
said that it has what is it? The psychological of 7, the religious aspects of The Exorcist, and
Well,
the
yeah,
blood
we'll
and
see.
gore of some gory movie. Yeah, I don't know. But all I know is Cage's voice in the teaser trailer is
Yeah.
awesome. So he's gonna totally. I can't wait to hear what kind of method acting he did to get in this role.
I hope he's in it more than he was in this.
Yeah, I know. This actually, I don't know if this should be the Cage. I don't know if it's Caged really.
Yeah. I mean, he is, I guess, the hero.
Maybe we should call it Caged 6.5. So long legs can be Caged 7.
Caged light.
Caged 6.25.
Yeah. Oh.
You
All
run
right.
away for a quarter of the movie. That's
Yeah.
my vote. So this has been Cage 6.25, guys. Don't
Yeah.
go see it.
Don't go see it.
If somebody
But
puts it on, just punch them in the fucking face and take them into the international death fighting ring that wholly exists in my head.
cross your fingers. Hopefully the next Cage will be great though. So definitely tune into that and tune into the next episode of Monster Candy Podcast where we may have a special guest, a special
We don't know
former.
which special guest.
Yeah, we don't know.
It depends.
Gucci T will definitely be on one of them, but we may have
Yeah.
someone
We got
else.
Gucci T. We may have a former
Mm-hmm.
host, and then we may have a former guest host
Yeah.
soon.
So
So we have like a trifecta going. You guys,
definitely
you guys
You're
are gonna be, your minds are gonna
excited.
explode.
blown up and then come back as a fiery wheel to destroy the town.
I don't even the
Whatever.
fucking wheel, man.
Yeah.
The
fucking
wheel.
wheel.
The wheel. The
The
wheel
wheel.
is what sealed the deal with the half of a candy corn.
Oh yeah.
There
It was
was no wheel. Would have been a 1. So many things would have made it a 1 or a 2, maybe even a 3, but the fucking wheel.
The wheel gave me a what the fuck
So mad
moment
about it.
for
I have
sure.
actually never rewound a movie so many times the first watch ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I rewound this probably 6 fucking times, being like, did they just say that? Or did I just see this? Or did that just fucking happen? Did I miss an imperative part of this movie?
Right.
No, I didn't.
No, just a
No.
wheel.
I saw it right the first time. All of it. All the times I rewound it, I saw it first
Yeah.
the right time.
It's
It's
just
just
a wheel.
like a fucking
A shitty wheel on fire.
those
Anyway,
investors are
everybody,
getting their money back.
we'll see you guys next time. So yeah, just don't get caught up in a fiery wheel of animals ever.
All out of bubble gum.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
I hear you looking for candy.
In your
man,
golf cart.
Yeah.
If you see a fiery wheel,
Like scary movies.
it's a polymorphic creature. Get in your golf cart and you will surely escape.
Yeah.
Surely.
For sure. Later, dudes.
Bye.
Oh man.
looks that big old storm right square in the eye and he says, "Get away from her, you bitch!"
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Your move, creep.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.